Hi, thanks for tuning in. Finally get around to making a few notes for this new WR that I picked up, 2021 WR450F, New Zealand spec bike with full power tuner, Wi-Fi module, map switch, etc. So I understand that's different to the US bikes, so I thought I'd just make that point now. So what do I think of it? I've already done another video called Road to Dirt, and that covers kind of what I've done to build this thing up. Since then I've added a few extra products, but I can run through that in another video. So I just wanted to touch base. So buying concerns I had moving to Yamaha from KTM after almost 25 years. So I'd be kidding myself if I didn't say losing the hydraulic clutch wasn't on my mind. I can actually say that the clutch on this, the cable clutch, is a lighter pull than the KTM 4-stroke hydraulic clutches. Now, I didn't really have a problem with the pull of either bike, but it's just something I noticed. Now, modulation wise on the cable clutch is not a worry. It's not something I even think about. I just get on and ride the bike. So that worry before I purchased this model was not really founded. I didn't need to be concerned with it. If I was at all bothered, I could have purchased a Magura hydraulic clutch conversion kit for about 450 New Zealand dollars and bolted it on, but I haven't felt the need, so I've left it with a stock cable clutch actuation. My initial thoughts from riding it. Now, this is an interesting one because I own a KTM 300 2-stroke, which I absolutely love to bits. It's a fantastic bike. Does have its limitations out of the box, like it needs suspension done on it, but once you get this sorted, it's a great model. So moving to a 450, I was concerned it would be light enough. I like sort of hardcore single track riding. 450 wouldn't necessarily be the bike of choice for that sort of riding, but I can honestly say this thing is pretty phenomenal. It's light, it's balanced front to back. I did find the power too aggressive out of the box, but just for that I'm talking real tight lock to lock conditions, anywhere else it would be fine. But I did want to tone the power back with that power tuner. So it was fantastic just being able to log onto the bike and alter the revs and throttle response, a power delivery, ignition curve. It's a fantastic bit of software. It's like an electronic screwdriver. It's like a million jets in a box. You can just jump on your phone and do it in a second and upload any two maps at a time and just actuate it on the map switch that's up here. So that kind of blew me away really, and it makes the bike incredibly versatile. The ride dynamic of it steers fast. I've heard people talk about WRs in the past and can't comment on the older models. I haven't ridden them, but people say, oh, they don't steer that fast, they're sort of sluggish. And this 2021 model with all the updates isn't like that at all. My brain has to tell myself to keep steering because the bike will go. You just need to point it in the direction and the thing just hooks up and shoots to the next corner. So it's something, being a 4-stroke, it hooks up better than a 2-stroke anyway in that respect. So it tends to just fire you out the corner to the next turn-in point. So you just need to keep that in mind when you're navigating corners, because you can find yourself almost overwhelmed at the speed the bike generates quite quickly in tight conditions. So, but that's not a negative, that's a criticism of my riding. So I would consider myself to be an intermediate rider, 42 years old, so I'm an expert on a good day and definitely a good rider on a bad day. So if that helps anybody make their mind up when buying a motorcycle, then that's sort of my ability level. So I'm not trying to talk myself up or the bike down or otherwise. I'm just trying to state the facts as I see it. So what else have we got? Suspension. Hey, KYB front and back, Triple S fork. If you've read all the magazines over the last few years, followed online articles, then I'm probably not going to tell you anything right now that you don't already know. The suspension on this thing out of the box is hands down, night and day, the best suspension that I've ever used, period, of any bike. it's just, I mean, I'm 106 kg, I normally respring every single bike from my weight. Probably should have done that with this one. I haven't even bothered. It feels that flipping good. So much so that it had me at home tearing my own KTM fork apart, trying to make it better after owning this, because I was like, why isn't there a WP fork like that? So, and that's, you know, I had a set of twin chamber forks that I was swapping with the KTMs from bike to bike as well, and they were sprung from my weight and revalved. And this thing is still better out of the box than even my fork that I've been holding on to for 10 years. So that's pretty phenomenal. I'm pretty stoked with it. And the front to back balance of the suspension is really, really good. Literally just set, sag, and away you go. Does feel way more firmer than the Euro bikes out of the box. Like if you're used to Euro suspension, they feel kind of undersprung and underdamped out of the box. This thing feels almost to the point of too firm when you ride it initially, but then after a little while you realize that doesn't equate to harshness. It's just that it stands up in its stroke and doesn't wallow, and that's what I think gives it that beautiful just flat ride dynamic where it doesn't do anything unexpected. You can just start actually ignoring the terrain to a certain degree and just pointing the thing in the direction you want to go and getting on the gas, and it'll just fire you at the next corner. So that's pretty phenomenal. It doesn't deflect on roots. It's impressive. So KYB and Yamaha have done a good job there. So induction noise. Another thing that I've noticed people comment on constantly online is the induction noise. So some people seem to love it, some people hate it. The airbox on this particular model is up here, so where traditional bikes is down there. I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me. I actually think it's kind of cool. I like that intake noise. I used to own a Husaberg, 70 degree Husaberg motor, 450, a couple of them actually, many moons ago, and it makes exactly the same or a very similar intake noise to that, and I always thought it was kind of cool on those bikes as well. So yeah, that's a plus point for me. Hey, it's personal preference. It's nice to see Japanese build quality everywhere on this bike. Now everything's branded on it, even the little cables I've got made in Japan on it. The wheels are XL. Everything is what you expect it to be. Nothing's home brand parts on it, other than the bars, which actually are Yamaha's own brand. It's not Renthal or anything. But other than that, everything is top dollar kit on it. It already comes with a fan, Wi-Fi module, the map switch, the bash plate. Yeah, it's well spec'd for the money, considering it's several $1,000s less than a KTM 450 EXC. You can't beat the spec on this thing. It's great. I mean, I've added a few bits to it, but that's kind of personal choice. Didn't necessarily need to, but yeah, that's up to you how you make your ride your own. So one thing I didn't actually like on this bike, and I'm being nitpicky, is the bash plate. So this is what Yamaha give you. Now, this doesn't actually cover the full bottom of the bike. I will do another video on the bash plate that I've actually put on it, but I'm not going to go into it in full details now. But I've essentially replaced it with this AXP one, which comes all the way underneath and comes to linkage. But that was something I felt the bike did need more protection than what they offer you. It's great that they do supply one. For the average person that maybe wants to just try a ride on it and doesn't do hardcore single track and essentially rock bashing and things like that, the stock bash plate would be sufficient. For the sort of riding that I tend to do on these bikes, it's absolutely not sufficient. I could see there being a lot of underneath and linkage damage if I didn't do something about that, so hence that change. Stock tyres, I did change to Michelin Starcross from brand new. Few reasons. The stock rear tyres on this WR are FIM, so the rear is a short knob height. They work okay, but it's still a 3-ply, quite a hard carcass. I wanted full depth tread, and the beauty of these Michelins, they've got something what's called comfort case technology. So it's a 2-ply casing, so it just enables you to hit roots, rocks, even more so. The bike doesn't deflect, the carcass molds around it and just gives you a softer, more supple ride while still being supportive. So this is my personal tyre of choice, so that's why I changed those. So the funny thing is with this bike, I was looking through the sort of the sales figures on it, because I can't get my head around how good this is. It's better than any of the four-strokes I've had in the past, and this is the first Yamaha I've had. It's brilliant. It really is quite amazing. Now that got me thinking, surely I cannot be the only person that thinks that way. It's in New Zealand, for some reason, the WR450F seems to be like the forgotten Enduro. But after owning this bike, it's phenomenal. It's a stunning ride. So that got me internet Googling and doing a bit of research. So I found out that the #1 selling bike in Australia, dirt bike this is the WR450F. So clearly I'm not the only one that thinks the things that I've just been describing. Second most popular selling bike in Australia is the KTM 300, which is funny because that is the other bike that the two-stroke world that I love very, very much. Like I said, once you get the suspension sorted on it, it's a fantastic bike. I think KTM did a great job with it. It just blows me away how people completely, well not completely, but a lot of people overlook the WR in New Zealand, the 450, well even the 250 is a great bike from what I hear. But it just, yeah, just how is that possible? How can it be the #1 selling bike in Australia and then not here? Or at least way up the rankings. So moral of that story is don't judge a book by its covers. I bought this bike unridden. I saved up, didn't take finance, bought it in one go. It was a nerve-wracking experience dropping that much cash on a bike that you hadn't ridden before, but thankfully from speaking to other people that have said how good they are, I don't regret it. It's excellent. So if you are thinking of going that way, if you can get a test ride on like a Yamaha demo day or something, do it. Brilliant. Make sure you ride it for a decent amount of time. It's hard to fully understand the bike until you've had a chance to play with all the power tuner options. If I'd ridden one lap on this and then just hadn't played with all the power settings and got it how I wanted it, I wouldn't have been as sold on it, potentially depending on what conditions I'd rode it in. But it's just so versatile. It really, it doesn't want to stall either. It's like the thing lugs for a four-stroke, especially a big four-stroke, you can lug it to the moon. Not like a two-stroke obviously, but it's still flipping impressive. It doesn't do that cough, flame me out, stally business what I absolutely hate in bikes. It drives me mad. It's one of the reasons why I've always favoured four-stroke over the years, despite owning a lot of four-strokes. It's one of the reasons I've always favoured two-strokes over the years, despite owning a lot of four-strokes, is because I don't like flaming out cough stall bikes. And over the years, I've found out a lot of the European bike models, four-strokes, seem to be more so like that. Certainly more so than this blue thing. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. I've just done it in one take, so excuse any errors. Hope that's helpful to someone. I'll get some more videos uploaded when possible. So thanks for tuning in, watching all 13 odd minutes of it. Yeah, take care. Happy riding.